It is believed that there must have been quite a few Windows users tired with Windows slow startup. The fact is that, if you install lots of programs on your computer, and many of them add themselves to the startup process, these programs will start automatically whenever your computer boots up. In that case, the boot speed of your computer will be slowed down. Do you want to get a fast startup speed on your Windows 10 PC? If you do, try the following step-by-step instructions to learn how to make Windows 10 startup faster. Before starting a video, subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon so you never miss my new video. So, let's get started. First, enable Windows Fast Startup mode. Windows 10 has a feature called Fast Startup that does exactly what it sounds like, and this is an obvious first stop in your quest. On many machines, this may be enabled by default, but if you ever turned it off, you can flip the switch pretty easily. Head to Settings, System, Power and Sleep, and click the additional power settings link on the right-hand side of the window. From there, click choose what the power buttons do, and you should see a checkbox next to turn on Fast Startup in the list of options. If it's grayed out, you'll need to click the change settings that are currently unavailable at the top of that window, then turn on the Fast Startup feature. Be sure to click the Save Changes button when you're done. Second, adjust your UEFI BIOS settings. Some computers have another fast boot setting in the BIOS. Unlike Windows Fast Startup, the fast boot setting bypasses some of the initial tests your computer runs when it first starts up. If you're overclocking or otherwise need regular access to the BIOS, you might want to leave this off, but most people could benefit from turning it on, if it isn't already. Reboot your computer, press delete to enter the BIOS setup or another key if prompted, and search for any fast boot settings in the menu. Some folks also recommend changing your boot order priority, making sure your hard disk is at the top of the list, rather than a DVD drive or network boot, but I've never found this to move the needle much. Every motherboard is different, so poke around your UEFI BIOS settings to see if there are any other features you can enable or disable to speed up the boot process. Your motherboard or PC manual may point you in the right direction. Third, cut down on startup programs. The more programs you have set to launch at startup, the longer your computer will take to get into a usable state when you boot it up. Some of your startup programs may be necessary to have running all the time, but plenty probably are not. To see what launches at startup, press Ctrl, Shift, plus Escape to bring up the Task Manager. Click More Details along the bottom, then head to the Startup tab. You will be presented with a list of programs that start with your computer, along with Windows' estimate of how much it impacts your boot time. You will also see a Last BIOS Time in the upper right corner that tells you how long your BIOS takes to hand off control to Windows. So if this number is more than a few seconds, you might want to take another look at the BIOS settings as described above. If you see a program in this list you don't need at a startup, especially if it has a high startup impact, then head into that program's settings and uncheck the option to launch it with Windows. If you don't see an option in that program's startup settings, you can disable it from this Task Manager window to prevent it from launching at boot. You can also open Settings, Apps, Startup and turn off anything you don't want to open at startup. Open File Explorer and type this into the address bar to access your startup folder. Any shortcuts added here will automatically launch at boot, so if there's something here you don't want launching, just delete it from the folder. Fourth, let Windows updates run during downtime. When Windows updates, it has to take time to install those updates when you shut down, and often when you boot back up. If you're tired of your computer getting Windows ready after an update when you just want to play some games, you should let Windows do its thing when you aren't using the PC. This does mean letting your machine run automatic updates, though. To do so without interrupting your work, head to Settings, Update and Security, Windows Update, and click the Change Active Hours button. Tell Windows what time you tend to use the device, and it will try to run automatic updates and reboots during times when the system is idle. Fifth, upgrade to a solid-state drive. More and more modern computers have ditched the spinning mechanical hard drives of yore and moved on to solid-state drives, or SSDs, which are much faster. If you're still using one of those old disks, it's time to upgrade. Not only will programs launch nearly instantaneously compared to your ancient hard drive, but your computer will boot much faster as well. Just about any computer with a spinning disk should be easy to upgrade to an SSD like the Samsung 870 AVO, which you can buy as cheaply as $65 for 500 GB. Look up repair instructions for your specific laptop or desktop for the full step-by-step, since it can vary from machine to machine. For most, you shouldn't need more than a screwdriver. 6th, just use sleep mode. Booting up fresh from your hard drive will always be slower than resuming from sleep. If you're frustrated by how long it takes to start your computer, consider just putting it to sleep instead. After all, while sleep does use a bit more power than a full shutdown, the difference is likely negligible in terms of electricity costs. Sleep can also be a bit more finicky if your computer has background programs waking it up at random times, but we have a guide to fixing that as well. Usually, Windows 10 boots fast than previous version, but in case your PC doesn't show the welcome screen within a few seconds, then you can try these steps. Those who have proper technical knowledge can also configure BIOS. You can disable those devices that do not require checks up by the firmware of the system. It may reduce the time by a few seconds. Increasing memory can also affect the overall speed of the computer. We hope that these steps will help you make Windows 10 boot faster without any problems. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. Also, give this video a like and share it with your friends. Lastly, subscribe to our channel for more amazing tech videos. Thanks for watching, and I will see you at the next one.